What is going on, YouTube? So, coming back with the third round of the playoffs. As you guys can see, it is tied 3-3 right now with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and obviously looking to get in the Stanley Cup Finals against the Vancouver Canucks. They beat the San Jose Sharks, also beat Columbus and Nashville. So, been able to roll through the West, and it is Game 7 for us. I believe it is at home. Show you guys playoff stats right quick. Bure's been in the lead for the points pretty much the entire playoffs, followed behind with Roenick and Yzerman. So I do believe that I changed the lineup up a little bit this game. So going with Roenick, Yzerman, and then I want to say Adam Foote on defense. And it does end up paying off in the long run, just because I believe that Roenick lost in a fight so that I could put in Bure. So we are playing in the coast today. I decided to change up the venue a little bit. Normally I do play in venues like that a little bit, though. I don't think we've done that one this year yet. So yeah, like I said, looking to change it up a little bit. The last game that I played, I ended up beating the Maple Leafs 1-0. I simulated through the first 5 games in the series, and the Maple Leafs had a 3-2 series lead. And then I played the last game, won it 1-0, which was by far the closest game I played all year. And it was a little bit, I guess, a little bit nerve-wracking, just because, like I said, I haven't played a game that closely, and I guess I'm not the type of person to quit a game and then not save if I lose. So, yeah, however the game goes, it goes. But anyway, the starting lineup for the Maple Leafs, I believe, was Bill Guerin, Glenn Murray, and then Alexei Zhitnik. On defense, and then in goal it was Milan Linka, however you said it, the old goalie for the Thrashers. Obviously, they didn't draft a goalie until the later rounds. Yeah, if you guys saw, I believe it was my last video, I did move it up to All-Star. The difficulty was on Pro. There are 4 difficulties, and the bottom one is Rookie, the next one up is Beginner, and then the third one is Pro, and then the last one is All-Star. Seems like a weird way to do it. It's kind of like the way NBA Live does it, from what I remember. So, yeah, I always thought the Beginner, I guess, came before Rookie. I guess that depends on the way you do it. But anyway, it's going on a streak of like 6 straight games now where I haven't had a goal scored on me. I don't know because it feels like when I play on like whenever I played on Rookie or Beginner, it was far back in the day, but like it always felt like even if I would win like 15-3, they would still get 3 goals. Like the offense wasn't as anemic as it is now, and I just wonder if there's going to ever be a goal going in eventually. I mean, obviously there will, just because the first few games there was a goal. I guess Hobby Bullen's just been playing better now. I said I was going to start Richter in this game, I think, in my last commentary, but did not end up doing that. I'd probably give him a shot in the next game. Roenick, I believe, just got demolished in this fight. Fighting was the one thing I did not expect to get a lot harder in All-Star. Seemed like I was going in slow motion almost a lot of the time. You can definitely tell the difference in the toughness when you get in the fight. Anyway, like I said, Roenick lost that fight. Rare, because Roenick normally doesn't lose fights, but Zhitnik has a little bit better toughness than Roenick in this game, I'm pretty sure. Actually, it might be about the same. I don't really use Alexei Zhitnik that much. I know he hits hard, that's about it. Actually, it might be about the same. Roenick's toughness is about like an 80. Pretty sure. None of my players that I start are great at fighting. I think he's the best. He's normally the first one that gets into a fight. I'll also try to do a goalie fight even if it is the Cup Finals. I think it'd be fun. So I do net the first goal there with Adam Foote. So the decision to put in Adam Foote for Bure on D looks like it's kind of panned out so far. I liked having the extra hitting on defense. It is nice to have the extra offense, but just because offense really hadn't been a problem for me, and I think the last game I played before this was the first time in a long time I've been out hit. I don't know if I was out hit, but it was close. Like, normally I out hit the other opponent by a lot, and I just kind of want to change that up a little bit. And there you go. There's a goal for Pavel Bure as well, so taking a good 2-0 lead about 2 minutes into the game. And also like having Bure up at center. This game doesn't do like, I guess it doesn't play true positional hockey. Normally the center is the one spending the most time on offense, and the winger is will take the defenseman's spot if he brings it up too far. It's normally the center that plays a little bit more defense down low than the winger. But this is definitely not traditional hockey, so that does change up a little bit. So that makes me want to put Bure more on offense. Like I said, his checking rating is pretty abysmal. It's like a 51 or 52, somewhere in that range. But first period is coming to a close. Looks like we're going to take the 2-0 lead into break. Not really outshooting them by that much. I think we were outshooting them like 8-2, maybe 10-2. Last game, outshot Toronto like 43-6, and only scored 1 goal. Like I said, I don't think the goalie overall really doesn't play too big of a key in this. I mean, Halink is like a, I want to say in the ballpark of like a 71 overall. And even this game, he played pretty good. But 43 or 42 saves on 43 shots in this game is pretty unheard of, especially for how much offense I normally have. When you bump it up to All-Star, though, there's definitely an emphasis on hitting. Also, that slim angle shot kind of goes away a little bit. Really, I think the only way I've scored on All-Star so far is one-timers, and then maybe a wide-open net on a rebound. Not just like one-timers, like far good cross-ice pass one-timers, one that really had to stretch out the goalie. It doesn't necessarily have to be a great shot, but just the passes have to be crisp. And I'm surprised that I've even gotten a rebound so far, because even on pro, it was almost impossible to bury a rebound on an open net, just because the other team would find some way to block it. Anyway, though, I wanted to mention, obviously, since this is the last game of the conference finals, and if we're able to hang on here, then there's only one more video left to go in the series. So it's been, like I said, it's been a fun series to do. It was a little short 14-game season. I've seen a lot of people do like series like this for NHL Hitz. Not like exactly like this, but I've seen a couple people use their franchise teams. And I've seen a lot of people do franchise on here too. Franchise would take a long time to do individual games, but anyway, I think a lot of people did it, just do it to screw around with their franchise teams. If you guys actually wanted to see what it was like to do, I mean, if you played this game when you were a kid, I think I also lost this fight to Bill Guerin. But if you wanted to see what this game looked like when you were a kid, then it's kind of the whole point of this for me to just go back and kind of just relive some of the one of the more fun games that I ever played as a kid, especially one of my favorite modes, just because I don't remember. I'd have to go back and play NHL Hitz Pro, but I don't think they had they might have had a fantasy draft. I can't really remember. NHL Hitz Pro wasn't. It didn't feel right to me though. Hitz 2002 and 2003 were completely different games than Hitz Pro. I think Hitz Pro was the first time they moved into the 5-on-5 format instead of 3-on-3. And then the series stopped after the lockout. I think it would have been interesting to see if it had continued at least into when Ovechkin and Crosby's were rookies in the league in 05-06. Because I know there was a while that you might still be able to. I'm not sure. I do believe that there was some sort of roster share online with NHL Hitz Pro. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think there was. And you know, if you had that little online adapter for the PS2, it probably costs $1 million now, just because probably hard to find. I mean, I don't know who still plays PS2 online, but if you do have one, you might be able to go on and find a roster share, or go on to the roster share and find a roster that's maybe from 2008 or 2009. Probably the best you'd get for an NHL Hitz roster, updating it wise. I mean, I guess you could create all the players if you wanted to, but that'd take a while, and you wouldn't get all the last names or anything like that either, and be all nicknames. I think there was some, it was like Xbox or something that, you know, if it was a basic last name programmed into it, or if it somehow had the name programmed into the system, then it would actually say the name without, it would say the full name. It wouldn't just say the nickname. I think it might have been if you had because a lot of the nicknames were first and last names, so I guess if you had both the nickname or two nicknames, then it could work that way. But I don't really remember that fully either. Never played this game on Xbox. I only played it on PS2. PS2 is the system I'm doing the commentary on as well. So, and also, I think if you use the emulator, you might be able to do that too. Actually, that's probably probably one of the best ways to get the updated rosters, and might be the only way is an emulator. I didn't even think of that. Because I know one of the series I'm doing right now for the PS2, actually really the only other big series I'm doing is the NCAA Football 06 Race for the Heisman, and there's one other guy that's been doing it. I think he's using like Alabama or something like that, and I'm pretty sure he uses an emulator for that. And I don't know if he has all. I don't think he has all the updated No, he doesn't have all the updated rosters, but he does have the actual roster on there. Which back in the day, if you wanted the actual roster names on NCAA football, unless you just wanted to use auto-generated names, which that's what I did. That's what most people did. Then you would have to buy the memory card, or because I don't think there was a roster share, at least until NCAA Football 08 on PS2 for online. And I think they made the NCAA game for PS2 all the way up until like 2011. I think that's when they stopped making PS2 games as a whole. Kind of really I guess that's when PS3 kind of took over forever as a whole. And then 2 years later, the Xbox One, and then the PS4 came out. But it might have been 3 years later. Anyway, I'm not 100% on my video game history, major timeline of consoles, but because NCAA Football 11, even though it was 5 years later after NCAA Football 06, the graphics still looked exactly the same. Pretty much after the new generation consoles come out, then the new games to come out might have a few additional modes, but graphics wise and system wise, the engine that they run on the game is pretty much all the same. It's just really, the main thing that they really just do is roster updates, ranking updates. Pretty much the same thing you get on NCAA Football 14 when you update the rosters each year, which kind of makes NCAA Football 14 still valuable, just because, I mean, obviously there's a few new teams, but you can even get the new teams. NCAA Football 14, I think really the only thing it doesn't update is the stadiums. You can get any new roster you want to. Anyway, been talking about NCAA football too much, and that brings it to the end here. We do advance to the conference finals with a 3-0 victory. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Check out my last two videos in the outro, and check out the Stanley Cup Finals when I do it soon. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, about 35 seconds in. Like I said, a lot of helmets floating around the ice. It's one thing that I never really noticed is that the helmets, I think they stay on the ice unless one of the guys gets like checked. If he gets like flipped on the ice, then I think